Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to Bonsai for Breakfast. Do you know what? I reckon we've got nearly one of the best editions possible. We might even have a little guest visitor dropping by.
Who could that be?
But the reason why I'm so keen on this is because one of the things on the menu is I want your ideas for this Japanese maple. I call it a mountain maple because I have no idea what variety it is. And you also know that down this bottom corner of the garden, just beside the greenhouse, I've got absolutely shed loads of cuttings and Chinese elm. I've got some yew down here. I've got all sorts. And they've basically been left here and ignored. Some have died back there. There's some definitely dead bodies in there. But I'm going to be rooting through these and perhaps show you a few that may well make it to 2025 for some more bonsai fun. But not only that, I also got a request for an update on my, I call my Labrador Larch mountain, where earlier in the year I chucked a couple of more larches onto some tougher rock. In fact, there's so much stuff going on this breakfast menu that I think the best thing you can do is to buckle in, get your coffee, chocolate, whatever it is. Make sure you got your cereal. If you're having Weetabix, my recommendation, get the milk on there quick and then start eating it. There's nothing worse than mushy Weetabix. In fact, right now, whack down in the comments, are you one of those people who likes their cereal to be mushy? Ugh, makes me a bit ill, bit ick-pick, as my mum used to say. So if this is the sort of meal that you like to consume, then buckle in. Let's roll the credits. Look who this is. It is Andy from Bonsaicrazy. And guess what? I know how many subscribers he's got. He's got 1.29k. Is that 1,290?
Gone up another 10.
No, because I unsubscribed, so actually
so
you're
it
down
went
one. But do you know what I hate most about Andy? But actually, I think I've got more hair than him, just a bit. But no, what I hate most is he actually has a video that's got 2,000 more views than I have. And if you haven't seen his video about the Bonsai Expo, it's got 13,000 views. It's a fantastic video. Link's up there. You have got to watch it and you've got to go and pay a visit to Andy's channel. But that's not why he's here. Guess what? We're getting into our main course for our bonsai for breakfast. Andy, you are the main course.
Oh,
how do you feel about
thank you
that?
very much. Well, I've never been dined on before.
I ate his liver with some fava beans.
Right, the first thing I want to talk to you about is what I love so much about your channel is you are the name, Crazy. And that's not meant in a negative way because a lot of people know I do a lot of crazy things to my trees, but nothing like the stuff you do. Your artistic merit, it absolutely bedazzles me.
Thank you.
And I love watching the stuff you do. And I tell you what, I'm annoyed, viewers. Can I say that? Viewers, it's like a Blue Peter channel, isn't it? Because Andy should have so many more viewers on his channel. The stuff that he comes up with, it's not crazy, it's really innovative. And yeah, it may not be mainstream bonsai, but your rhinoceros head. Actually, let's get that in the right context. Because I had a tortoise. No. That is incredible. That's the one with the roots all coming over the rhinoceros. I know. Is that still going?
It's still going, yeah. It's getting there. It's getting thicker. The branches are growing. It's just all about it growing out now to the length I want and getting all the roots in the positions I want. I've covered the whole thing now with soil, so you can't even see any of the roots. So it's a big pile of soil that's all wrapped up, and it's like its own thermostat in there because it's all wrapped up in cling film. So it's doing well, and I can see all the roots through the cling film. So I know it's great.
That is one of my favourites. I mean, when you were, if you haven't seen his rhino, this is just like Andy's channel. You have got to spend your time. It's the best 29 hours I've ever invested in my life. Really, no, it's really worth watching. Even if you just fall forward through the different bits, so much. And when you went through the idea of baking your own pots, I only bring that up because you promised me something. He promised me something, and it was supposed to have big wings. It was an eagle. I was so upset because what happened to it?
It broke, didn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what the truth is? He never ever meant to give me anything at all. So I'm actually going to really put him on the spot. No,
I've actually got a treat for you.
Oh, don't do that to me. It's
in the car.
Everything's always in the car. It's like this pot was in the mail. We know what happens to things like that. No, in fact, I'm going to put you on the spot. I've got this, I'm going to call it a momajai or a mountain maple, because I have no idea what variety of maple it is. It's got loads of ramification. Don't need to go into loads of detail, but it's been sitting like this for a very long time. I tried to grow these, but yeah, okay, enough said about that. What would you do? Before we hear Andy's answer, I just thought I'd take you back to this larch where I did a ground layer. This ground layer has been on for the same amount of time as many of the air layers, and you saw with the hornbeam one, we had roots. So, you know, I'm thinking to myself, all this lovely growth, so clearly this thing's being fed from some root system. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to be pruning it back, but I've got it on quite a small container. And what I really want to see now, because we'll know definitely, is if I take this off, do we have roots under there? So, and if we do, I may well put a bigger container around it. Not necessarily separated, I think we'll save that for the spring. Now, truthfully, what I'd hope to have seen is some degree of root structure there, and I'm not seeing anything pushing out, so I'm just going to explore it a little bit, just pull away a little bit of this soil. And what we could have found is that we haven't actually ground laid. All we've done is created a great big callus, because there's certainly not loads of roots there. Oh dear, no, okay, not feeling it, definitely not feeling it. Oh, hang on, maybe. Well, having that soil has definitely produced, there's a little root here.
Well, it's hardly worth the effort.
Coming from this part here. But, yeah, there's the point that I put the wire in. That's what I did. Yeah, I put a wire. And that wire's produced one root by the look of it. Look, I'd love to be able to go, yes, you know, put in a big wire tourniquet on the larch, covered it in soil. I was hoping we'd get loads and loads of roots, and we got one. Does that show that the method works? Yes, it does. That prompted the tree to put a root above the wire, but did I get the success I wanted? Absolutely not. What's my response to this? Well, I still need to achieve the aim that I wanted, because beneath that wire there is a great big lump, and it was very ugly. I've still got to resolve that. Now, whether I leave that for this year, or whether I could actually put that wire on tighter, and that's actually what I'm tempted to do. So I'm going to reapply the wire tourniquet, bite it in even tighter, and then we'll look at it again in the spring. Meanwhile, we've got loads of growth on it. I mean, it's actually done really, really well for being in this soil. Okay, well, pruned it right back, and truthfully, I've never, in sort of larches that I've potted up or anything, seen that amount of growth, really. Well, I have, but for this tree, it's never ever produced that sort of growth. Very rarely get anything longer than that sort of size. So, you know, if I've achieved anything at all, I've put some vigour back into the root system that's there. And you know what? I reckon next spring we'll have a look at it and just see what it's looking like. But I reckon there's got to be a few of you who are just a little bit curious to hear what Andy had in mind for that rather long, elegant, but confused Japanese maple. So let's head back and see what Andy has to say.
Not a lot, Zav, to be honest. I actually really like this tree. It's got a lot going for it. It maybe could do with a bit of coming down at the front there, or maybe a branch here.
Someone suggested, the reason why I'm really asked, someone suggested about wrapping it in in vet tape, wiring it right up, and then doing something more with the trunk itself. But my fear with that is actually it's been like that for many, many years. And
It's very strong. Yeah, it's very strong. But no, I actually really like the movement on that. It's not bad, Zach.
Okay. So perhaps
a root over rock.
Did you hear that? Root over rock. I can't believe you're suggesting I put that on a rock.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the roots in there, have you?
No, I haven't seen the roots.
No, that's all right. Neither have I. It's funny. this is what I love about YouTube, and I don't know how you find that when you get comments being put in there, and once people realise that we know nothing more than anyone else does, let's be honest,
bloody thing.
I get most of my ideas from the comments, to be fair, and from people who know better, like Alex, who's over there sulking.
Alex!
He's not. In fact, we'll let him come on the camera in a minute if he wants, just to show that Alex Braunton is really a true person.
I can also see a nice rock there.
Oh, nice.
And
so we sort of really,
yeah,
not that rock, but
yeah,
and
you
it's a
get what
high
I mean.
part
So
of this.
a high part here of it sitting on the rock,
Yeah.
and then the roots coming down, which will make it just that little bit more special, I reckon.
So is that a challenge to me for next spring?
That is a challenge, sir.
You hear that? That's a challenge. For all two of you who are watching, that's a challenge.
That's not even a challenge.
I was blown away again. Andy's thinking outside the box, and that's what I love most. And I know a lot of people, when they talk in the comments with some of these ideas, do exactly the same thing. So big thanks on that. We'll see what happens. Oh, it's gone. Is that in the back of your car already?
Yeah, I nicked it, mate.
Tell you what, you put your hat down for 1 second and it's gone. Now, this is less challenging. I dug this up in 2019. It's not inspiring, and it's sat like this for a long time. If you had something like this, what would you do with it? I mean,
Chop it there.
do you know anyone else who would have taken that approach?
Not many people would have taken that approach.
You think of one person though who might have taken that approach?
Tony.
Tony, it would be a Tony
would have done
trunk
the
shop. Well, I'll tell you what, my challenge to you is you take that one back, because
No way.
I'm upset. It's been over a month since I've seen a video from you, and I know we all have lives, and well, actually I don't work, so I don't have a life. This is my life. It's really sad, isn't it? But I haven't seen a video from you from over a month, and regardless of that, I'd love to see one soon.
Oh.
In fact, have we got an idea when one's coming?
I've made one today, Dad.
Look at
Special one
that.
for you all today.
Oh, Alex is beaming from ear to ear. I bet he's in it. He's probably going to be the
He is in
star.
it. He is
Oh
in it.
dear. Well, I'll tell you what. I challenge you to turn that into a bonsai. You take
Oh,
that home with
mate.
you. And,
Seriously?
you know, I wouldn't make it up. I'm not
Oh,
making it up. I'm
thank you.
taking it back afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So
That's really
there you
nice
go.
of you. Thank you very much.
No, it's not. The enjoyment I've got from some of your stuff anyway, and that leads nicely on to this. It's not a segue, but I love using the word segue. Who likes the word segue? Better still, in the comments, spell it for me now, without cheating. I can see Alex is already getting his little phone out.
Don't
If
ask
you-
me.
If you reach down between your legs and pull something out. No, let's not.
Ooh, Xavier.
I'm not sure I worded that quite how I meant it to come out. But needless to say, let's have a little close-up of this, shall we? I know there was someone who was actually asking about how this Roots on Rock Larch project was coming on. And as you know from the video earlier in the year, it's the first time I'd actually worked with sphagnum moss, sphagnum powder as an ingredient for the muck, so to speak. And there it is. The moss is still on it. It's yellowed off a bit, but that's one of the trees. And as you can see, it's definitely got some shoots coming off it. I'm not pruning it. I'm quite happy to leave it, but it's nice and solid on the rock. And looking down, I really love this. And the one I put on the back, again, there it is. It too is on nice and solid. And what's even better is we've got lovely long shoots. So overall, very happy with how my Labrador Larch on Rock is looking. And of course the reason why we're calling it a Labrador is because I've managed to find a lovely little pet dog to just sit in there. Well, hopefully that satisfied your curiosity for how Labrador Larch Mountain's going. I think we need to go back to Andy and see what he is going to pull out.
That is not funny.
I have been
Aha.
a bit amiss with that lump of wood because,
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
well, Andy, you tell us where this is. That's pointing at me like a gun, isn't it? To shoot me down.
Well, this came from a customer who dug up loads of her trees and they were just left stuck in the ground. So I dug them all up. I did give Xavier the hardest one. So this is a tricky piece
That feels quite
for a
hard.
Tanuki.
A Tanuki. And I'm going to interrupt here. I've been looking at it since January, And Andy went out of the way. He even cut bits down on it, and he was ever so apologetic because he said he gave me the worst one. Well, anyway, it's been January. I've been looking at it, and it's only because Andy came today actually, he said, Zav, why is it that I'm not on Bonsai for breakfast? I said, well, we only have the select few. I mean, we've had someone's back garden on Bonsai for breakfast. I've actually got a really special guest star flying over and the next Bonsai for breakfast, but you'd have to, in fact, you'd have to hit bell notifications. That's the old ding ding, isn't it?
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, yeah. To find out who that special guest star is. I tell you what, you will not be disappointed. This guy's big enough, but I'll say I've got someone coming next week who's even bigger. Anyway, I ignored this. Do you know why? I had no idea what to do with it. I want it to be something special because Andy had taken the time to get it all prepared, dug up and everything. And I know some people have done some stuff. I've got some ideas, but do you know what? What would you do with it?
I would chop that halfway down there, all the way across, and that'd be your base. Maybe a little bit further so you can sit it in the soil a bit.
Yeah.
So chop it there, and then cover the soil up to there, and then take your tanuki from wherever you want. Maybe open up this top part.
That's more where I'm really thinking of opening it right up, really hollowing it out. Lots of holes in it. Because it's taken so long, I'm actually going to spend some time aging it and hardening it properly.
Yeah.
I actually love all this.
You
and
like
what's held me is trying to work out
the best position for it.
I'm thinking more like this, with a nice sort of slate base or something like that. But hey, tell you what, you know what I'm going to ask, don't you? Because there's comments down below, and if you haven't put something in the comments, why not? Normally I get all sorts of interesting things. They're not always something I can repeat, by the way. But yeah, what would you do with this hunk of wood? Anyway, thank you, Andy, and I'm really sorry that I haven't actually got to it.
That's all right.
I want to give it justice.
It's going to be a hard piece, Dave.
We're going to move on because I'm sure that one of your videos is going to feature your impressions of my garden. And I'm going to let him walk around and film because I did all the grass hoovering, I did the grass weeding. I spent 2 days solid getting this place ready. I bet he doesn't even realise the work, the sweat, the blisters. But I've still got more to do because this whole area here, some of which contains, well, I've discovered some trident maples that are going up as quickly as gold is, or Bitcoin. But I've got quite a few hidden in here. But for you to see what is actually hidden here, I first of all have to do a little bit more digging, get some more weeds out. Now, that may bore you senseless, certainly going to bore me, so I'm going to do all that and come back and show you what it's looking like when it's finished. So, in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'll quickly scan you around what I have done, just to give you an idea of how the Bonsai Retreat is looking while Andy's visiting. So yeah, as you can see, it's amazing what a difference it's looking like when the old lawnmower gets to hoover the grass. And I've managed to go around all the different beds, apart from the one I'm obviously working on right now, and get all those weeds out. I just think it's interesting though to see how great and wonderful it looks when there's no weeds choking everything. I did a lot of work down the bottom of the garden, so to speak. It had become very, very overgrown. There's nothing going on in the cold frame right now. But let's walk you in. And obviously many of you will know that that wisteria is going to be subject to a digging up exercise. Hopefully that'll work out. But finally, this whole area that was at the moment you can see is nice and just dirt covered was literally a haven for 2-3 foot weeds, and it took some work, so I still have to try and find a longer term solution for that. But yeah, you can see benches are still there, but all this area now is clear and looking really good, really nice, and I know Andy, I'm quite impressed with it. We'll talk about those later on in the episode. And really, from my perspective, really happy with how the bottom of the garden is looking. All the trees, again, you'll see them in a bit more detail in future videos, but looking really, really nice. I'm very, very happy. Well, it's an hour and a half later. No surprises. But it's good to see that a lot of the trees are rooted in, and the beeches and the junipers, pines, all looking great, and you're going to see them in later videos. And I did remember to retrieve some of the tridents that were hiding amongst all those bushes. Certainly you must remember this. I did a video on this, why these branches are kept elongating, all about branch thickening. I've got tridents up here and here as well. But I have had a request about my my Tanuki project. So bearing in mind we've just been talking about things like that, and before we find out what video Andy recommends as his best go-to see video on his channel, let's have a look behind the board and find out exactly how that Tanuki was getting on. In fact, I did some video about 3 weeks ago. Shall we pop over and have a look at me 3 weeks ago? Might have had less or more hair, who knows. I am absolutely certain that you were all dying to know how my Corkbark Elm Tanuki was getting on. The Corkbark Elm actually being the dead bit, and the new Corkbark sapling, which was planted onto it last year. Well, I have to say this is all firmly attached in there, and lots of shoots coming out. And about the only thing I did earlier in the year was just tie this one down. It's not going to attach at the top, so I'm happy with the amount of growth that's there. So you know what I'm going to do? The wire there hasn't really kept this in close, so I think we've got that one, and that one. So I'm going to cut it there. And we can start building the apex. And in terms of looking up close how it's looking, I mean all the bark there is starting to peel away as we'd expect it to. I'm not going to encourage it, but you can see we're going to have that hardwood core eventually when this all comes away. But you can see this is firmly attached and we're getting nice little growth out of it. So really happy. Overall I'm really happy. Got some nice length coming out here which I can actually now look at pruning back. So we'll do that. And we'll prune this one back to there. So certainly the Tanuki is doing really well. I do want a little bit more growth if I can get it elsewhere, but this one we'll see. It's healthy. As for that great big long thing, can I turn that into a cutting? Yeah, definitely got 2 or 3 cuttings there. Poke them into some soil, and you can have some bonsai in, gosh, as little as 7 years. When you think of it like that, I don't know why we don't all do it. So yeah, so the first ever Tanuki experiment, wrapped around really tight, is starting to come on, and really what I'm hoping is to see a real outpouring of growth. As you can see, it's looking pretty good, and rest assured, 3 weeks further on, it's doing well. But it did occur to me, Andy and Alex did walk around the garden, and rather than bore you with a full tour, because I'm sure you're going to see that on Andy's channel, I thought I'd ask them, well Andy in particular, what did he think was my worst and best tree? So let's go and find out what he said.
Does he look like me?
Hang on, the sun's shining off your head at the moment, Andy. Which one looked like you?
Does he look like me?
Oh, yeah, there is a
Great
certain
beard,
resemblance there. Very, very stony and static expression. Yeah, no, I agree. No personality. Yeah. So go on, I'm going to put you in the spot. Have you had a chance to walk around yet?
I have. They're really nice trees, though.
Is there a tree here that you definitely think's rubbish? Or more than one? Pick the most rubbish one.
The most.
Have you seen one that gone?
I haven't seen any.
Ah.
I haven't seen any rubbish trees.
What about this one?
Oh, Alex.
Oh, no, that's
hey,
rubbish.
That's to prove Alex Broughton
That's
is a
the
real
stick in a
person. Let's have a look.
No, it's got some good movement on it. Just one leaf though. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
gonna...
no, it's quite difficult. Andy, have you ever tried to produce a tree that has just one leaf? It's quite technically
haven't.
difficult, isn't it?
No, well, it must be. You're making it look easy, though.
Okay, so that little apple, yeah, you found it. Well done, Alex. Thanks. Which is the one you like the most? And that is, oh, okay. Yeah, I know where you're going. Yes. Oh, the Japanese white pine. And have you watched many of my videos?
I watch all your videos.
So, when did I buy that one?
Ooh, now you're asking.
Well, there's a reason I asked that. Alex, do you know the answer?
Was it?
Oh, hang on.
It wasn't long ago.
Yeah, was it 2020?
There are 2 trees there. One of them has come from Scotland and is small, and one of them is the sort of buy that someone who's new to the hobby makes, not realising just how much of an error that could be. That one that you're looking at now is the first ever proper bonsai I ever bought, and I bought it in 2002. It was half the size, and I knew nothing about white pine, and it sat in the garden for the best part of 10 years. It didn't get repotted.
That's that one?
That's that one.
That has come along really nicely.
Yeah, and I think it benefited most from me actually not doing anything to it. I just left it at the bottom of the garden.
Yeah, it's come along really
Did that with my children as well. Didn't seem to affect them. Well, I don't actually think there's any surprises with him picking that as my number 1 tree. I mean, it's doubled in height since I first got it back in 2002, and hopefully with a bit of help from Yellow of Growing Bonsai, we might actually just do a little bit more with that apex. But I am determining one thing. Alex picked out that as my worst, and it's typical that he found the one that has been hiding amongst the rest of the trees. But you know what? He's challenged me, I think, to see if I can make that much better. It's got 1 leaf on it. Let's see how many leaves it'll have on next year. In fact, another reason to get in the comments. Put down now how many leaves you think that little apple's going to have next year. So anyway, enough of my trees. Let's hear from Andy and find out which video he'd recommend most to you from his channel. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed what's been on the menu today at Bonsai for Breakfast. Andy, have you enjoyed it?
I'd love it, yeah.
What is your favourite breakfast meal?
My favourite breakfast meal is scrambled eggs.
Can't
Bit
go
boring,
past.
really, isn't it?
Well, no, it depends with a bit of bacon. In fact, what Andy doesn't know, and it's going to affect him because he's not having any, is right now my kids, well, see, James and Miriam have got back from the honeymoon. They went scuba diving, they did all sorts, and we're having a very, very late Sunday breakfast brunch in about 10 minutes. So any minute now, Alex is going to be out the door along with Andy as well. But no, seriously, okay, so you like the scrambled egg. I've got a few questions. Andy hasn't seen them. What was it like meeting Peter Chan? And before you answer, you know what I'm going to do? Up there's going to be a link to his Peter Chan video. I've watched it. It's pretty good, actually.
It was an experience. He's a very nice chap.
I'm going to stop you again. Anyone who says it was an experience means you can take that several different ways. I might be meeting him in another week or 2, so no, seriously.
No, he was a nice man. Yeah, he was all right. Yeah. He was very busy.
Yeah.
But, a very nice man. Yeah, it's worth a trip. Definitely.
Did you feel like an imposter when you went there, in any way, shape or form?
An imposter? Oh, I feel like an imposter anyways, because I don't know much about bonsai. So it's like, it's like a newbie being a YouTuber and not knowing anything.
It's weird because I think imposter syndrome is something I often feel. I know Jason Hanrahan of the Bonsai Garden, and you all know Jason. In fact, he'll probably draw a really nice picture describing things like that because he's very good with his pictures and his explanations. Well done, Jason. Keep it up. Bonsai imposter, I feel that actually quite a lot because there's a lot of people out there who really do know what they're doing and they know the techniques and they know. I mean, even Alex, you see, he fertilises his trees.
I tell you what,
see the growth rate.
These trees are bloody lovely.
They are. Did you use the B word?
No. These trees are really lovely.
They're lovely. They're lovely. Yeah. But I certainly feel it sometimes. And sometimes we just got to keep on going because you enjoy doing what you're doing, don't you?
I do enjoy it, yeah. You do have moments, you have tough times in your life and you've got to get through those so you can put it to rest for a little while and then get back to it. Yeah. But, I do love bonsai, yeah.
You're not intending to stop or anything like that, are you? Because sometimes, I mean, I'll say it honestly, sometimes the pressure of YouTube, the pressure of views or no views or whatever, and the algorithm changing all the time, and you'll hear us talking about it occasionally, can really be a bit of a strain on your mental health, a bit of a dent. So, I ask this with that in mind.
I've considered stopping it, but then I thought to myself, well, it's just what I'm going through now.
Yeah. Get
through this stage of whatever has happened in my life, and then 3 or 4 months down the line, and I'll get back to it, So the trees are always there. All you've got to do is water them and let them grow, and you can get back to them. And feed them, Zach.
Feed them. There's a few things I've still got to learn. Yeah, all I would say, do not stop.
Oh, thank you.
Just keep recording stuff, and you know what? I get a bit burnt out and jaded. Not jaded. Jaded's the wrong word. No, we don't talk about jade. They're not real bonsai, are they? in the comments. Anyway, next question. If you were to sit here right now, and I don't know, look around, who is your favourite YouTuber for bonsai?
My favourite YouTuber? Now you're putting me on the spot, Zav.
Who would you?
I thought, apart from you, obviously.
If you were going to pick someone out of before you started YouTube, and seriously, who was the one person that, you know, there's lots of ones out there. I mean, I always talk about Bonsai Mirai, and the one I talk about most is Iqbal Khan, who was one of my really early ones. And well done, Iqbal. I see you're back out there trying to tote the knowledge on YouTube. Keep at it too. But who's the one you remember as being the first that really made an impression?
The first person that really made an impression, I would say, Sen.
Yes, Bjorn.
Sen, Bjorn. I really respect what he does.
Yeah.
You know, he's very intelligent. He speaks Japanese, you know, and you know his trees are awesome. I think he's got a real, genuine love for it,
Yeah.
and it comes across in his videos.
No, it's very, very true. Okay. Oh, that's Catherine in the background singing from West Side Story. There is one last question I'm going to ask you. Well, why would I say that? Because we know there's going to be one last question because you're going to hear it in a minute. Can anyone guess in the comments what that one last question is? If you were to recommend any video from your channel that you think someone who doesn't know about you would really get into meat and hooks, which one should I be putting up there right now?
Would put up my waterfall root over rock.
So that's the... is that the...
Or my first Tanuki, Japanese larch, which is coming off really nicely now.
Yeah, not the cave one where you made all the cave. You made a cave and he made lights in it and everything. It was was that your giant sequoia?
My giant sequoia.
Yeah, and that's been through the times. Yeah. But you should have seen, did all the wiring and everything. I don't think. Did you get regulations? Did you get it inspected? Did you get it pat tested?
I didn't.
He didn't get it pat tested, did he?
You know, that is a good one. That I do like that one. That is a good one. That, yeah.
Well, I tell you what. It's been a privilege having you on Bonsai for breakfast. I'm over the moon. I cannot believe that Andy's actually here in the retreat, and hopefully he'll enjoy wandering around. But well, I was going to say I'm off and use my usual thing. But Andy, do you want to sign off on Bonsai for breakfast for me, please?
Have a nice breakfast. See you all later. And don't forget to watch Bonsaicrazy.
All the best. Happy Bonsai and God bless.
Bye.
Cheers.